you got a bowl game here against some guys that are out. Is it almost like preparing for an opener in a way because of the opt-outs and things that you see on tape that you may not see in the game?
Well, not really. From a personnel standpoint, it could be the case, but from a schematic standpoint, not really. You know, they're going to run what they're going to run, and whoever the guys that replace the guys that opted out, you know, they'll do the same thing, and, you know, and they'll be simple in their approach because some of the guys that have opted out, at least defensively, pretty much taking all of the snaps, so you can't really imagine that they'll ask them to do anything different than what they've been doing, so.
As you watch their film, why do you think they struggled so much against the run in the second half of the year?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. They might be able to tell you that. I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't tell you. I don't know. I hadn't watched them in that regard to see the answer to that question.
Big up front. Is that what you see on tape? Big up front?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good size up front, across the board, which matched up really well with us as well. Obviously, Frazier been out, but we got great size up front too. But so it'll be a similar game that we've had all season long, where we, you know, going to tell our offense that and defense that it's going to be a battle of the trenches, man. You know, both teams want to run the ball and be physical up front, so that's where the game's going to lie.
I was asking Jaheim before you got in here about the nucleus of skill players that you guys have intact coming back, what you got coming back and what you're bringing in.
Yeah.
And do you sense something special kind of building with what you've got and what you expect to have next year?
Absolutely. Very much so. And the chemistry they have as well, on and off the football field. And it's really just a tip of the iceberg with those guys, you know, just to see what they're capable of doing. And you guys got a great glimpse of it the last 7 games of the season. We're still getting a glimpse of it right now as we're going through bowl practices where they're playing for one another. But it's going to be a special group. And like I said, what makes it even more special is the talent they have, but the camaraderie that they have as well. And they want to go out there and perform well for one another. Like they want to go block on the perimeter for Jaheim to run the ball. He wants to do a great job in pass pro to allow those guys to get vertical downfield and create one-on-one opportunities. So I do feel something special brewing.
Good selling point when you're out there. I mean, you can tell a kid, hey, listen, we got these guys. If you come and join them, this is what we can be.
Absolutely. Huge selling point. That's exactly what we're selling. And, you know, we do a phenomenal job playing fast and being efficient with plays and keeping the chains moving so we're able to get more plays. The more plays we get, the more opportunities guys get. And I'm always talking to those guys about being special with the ball. So not only are they getting the opportunities, but it's not taking like a lot of opportunities to be very efficient with the football. You know, they're averaging, you know, pretty decent amount of yards per catch. You know, obviously Jaheim's averaging pretty decent amount of yards per carry. So they're being very efficient with the ball. So it's allowing more guys to get opportunities as well.
I was joking with Garrett about lobbying to play a little more 2-minute offense next year because he's so good at the end of half-minute game. Is that a consideration, something, I mean, because he's so instinctive and because he's such a reactive player, he's really at his best when – is that something you guys will consider and talk about a little bit when the
offseason? Yeah, we will. Well, that's one of the reasons why we try to play with tempo. You know, he plays you know, we do a phenomenal job in practice simulating that, you know, that happens in the game. And so we get in the game, it's like rehearsal for those guys. But it is something we talk about. But we actually try to emulate that in, you know, in actual game play by playing fast because he responds to that really well, and he does a phenomenal job of handling it really well. And then our guys around him do a great job of getting lined up fast and getting set so he can see what he needs to see to execute.
Kind of makes it easier as a coach too in terms of planning because you don't have time to sit there and think about scenarios. You just go play fast.
Right. And the beauty of it is to be able to do what we're doing, playing that fast, we don't have to be as complicated because we got the right guys on the field. And what I mean by the right guys, I've talked to you guys early on about, you know, playing the most productive players. So the right guys are on the field, and so we don't have to be, you know, as complex with what we're calling because of the talent we got on the football field and the talent he has around him. You know, so we get honest defenses, and those guys with their talent and ability go out there and win the one-on-ones.
What do you think about Brandon at center?
And where we're going. Like, when you say what I think about it. When you say what I think about it, what do you mean?
Just like, you know, this is going to be his first time. He played a little bit at the end of Baylor, but his first time, you know.
Well, Coach Moore's done a great job, really way dating back to spring ball, you know, times when Zach might not have been in or we went with the twos and and Yates plays. He stayed in and played center for the 2, so he's gotten a lot of reps playing it. Not as obviously not a lot in the game play, but in practice settings and scrimmage settings, maybe back in spring ball and fall camp, and he's got a lot of work at it. So we're all good, man. Yeah, we're all good. And he's been doing a phenomenal job in these bowl practices, right? Snapping the ball really well. Today today was a really intense practice where we almost made it very similar to what we've done in the like on a Wednesday game week during the season, and everything was all good.
Approach these games. Do you approach it as the end of this year, or is it more the beginning of next year? I mean, it's different. Bowl games used to be the end of the year,
right?
But the way the game has changed, is it more beginning of next year?
No, for me, I'm approaching like it's the end of the season. We need to finish. We need to finish. We're still in a mindset where we're still out to prove guys wrong, and so we need to finish. And now it is start of what's to come, because obviously we're getting a lot of work with the younger guys. It's like having extra spring ball, so like younger guys to get some reps, and guys that hadn't played as much getting a lot of reps to get ready. But we still in that mindset where we got to finish this season off. Yeah.
A lot of conversation around Beanie defensively becoming the 13th consensus All-American, and how the coaching staff and Brown talked about they can use that for future recruits,
absolutely,
especially defensive backs in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
Who would be that guy that you could use that took that jump by coming to West Virginia? I'd imagine Cole Taylor maybe would be, off the top of my head, one that you could bring up. Like, how are you going to use that on offensive players from what you did in the portal to say, hey, come here and
right.
have success?
You said it exactly. For us, it would be Cole Taylor coming in and making an impact. And with both of those guys, with Beanie and Cole, they had the right mindset when they came in this summer. When I mean by the right mindset, they were wherever they've been in the past. It was no when I was here or when I was there. And when they came here, they were all in, and they had a clear mindset that they want to come here and be the best version of themselves here at West Virginia, and not saying what they did there and did any comparison stuff. And I always think the guys that come in with a clean mindset of ready to move forward and be all in gives themselves the best chance to be as successful as they could possibly be. And I think both of those guys had that right mindset early on when they first got here. But Cole Taylor would be that guy.
Does that kind of guide your approach? I mean, Beanie came up here and said, listen, a lot of guys, they go because they're looking for the money. They're looking for the NIL money. I came because I want to be a better football player,
right.
And I did. Does that how you guys approach it? We're going to go look for the guys that want to be better football players?
Absolutely. And we want also to go for the guys. Obviously we want to get a great player out of it, but you also want to get a guy that fits who we are too. I think the coach of our locker room has changed tremendously, man. Just coach of this whole football team, and so we also want to get the right kind of guy. And those two guys got the right mindset to come in and blend well with our mentality of who we are as a football team now, and not something that can disrupt what we establish.
If you look at it from the mentality, not just Beanie and Cole, but your place kicker. There have been a lot of guys. You hit on a lot of guys this past year.
Yeah, exactly right. Michael Hayes and who else? Yeah.
I mean, does that kind of put the pressure on you? Okay, we got to do that again this year, or do you look at it as a way? Okay, if we can't get immediate guys, get guys to fill in spots that we need and develop.
Well, if we need an immediate guy, we need to come get a guy now. Now, if it's not an immediate guy, in my mind, I'd rather recruit a guy to high school. If it's not an immediate guy, but if it's an immediate guy, you got to get the guy out of the portal, and you hope to, it happens so fast. You got to get on those guys right away, so you give yourself a chance to get the guy that can come help you.
I mean, in the case of, I know it's a different position, but Beanie came here in June or whatever it was,
right,
and became a consensus All-American in 4 months, and didn't even have any time for momentum to promote him or anything. He just came out and performed. That's pretty rare.
Yeah, it is rare. And then sometimes, I'm just speaking like in his situation. Maybe, it's about guys being in the right environment where they feel like they get an opportunity to flourish. I believe the environment we have here is more of a supportive environment, even where the criticism they may have is constructive. So they can learn from it and grow from it and still have an opportunity to go flourish, as opposed to it being a destructive environment. So maybe sometimes guys that jump in the portal may not feel like they're given the proper opportunity, or maybe they're not be in an environment that they feel like is supportive enough for them to go flourish. And that's the kind of environment that we have around here, because he's a talented player. So I'm pretty sure for a guy to be a consensus All-American, he ain't all of a sudden just turn it on overnight, man. He's been a good player.
Is there enough hungry guys out there today to find those guys?
Are there enough? I think it is. You got to find them, though. It's not as – I don't believe it's as many as it has in the past, but I do think there are some out there, and we just got to do a great job of digging to find them. Sometimes it's guys like that feel – like, for example, like a Jaheim White, it could be one of those guys you got to do a great job digging and finding that feel like they've been slighted and overlooked. And then those guys, they take that as a knock, and then that ends up being like a chip on their shoulder that, they just kind of carry with them. It allows them to go play that much, harder, that much more determined to go prove people wrong, So you just got to do a great job of finding those guys. You can't be scared sometimes to go recruit a kid and trust your own eyes that what you watched on film and what you watched when you went and saw that kid perform, whether it be in practice or a game, that what you saw you actually like, that he fits. And just because he may not have the offers attached to it, don't allow that to scare you away, but trust your own evaluation of that kid and that he is what you guys need and that fits in your program, that can do it.
And then put your arm around him and remind him, hey, you were overlooked.
Exactly. And that's 100% fact.
Remind him all the time.
Ain't no doubt. For DJ, it's been a really good year for him. He's grown a lot. And I remember when he first came in, I don't want to say later, but, as opposed to guys that come in early summertime, came in a little later, struggled a little bit at first, just understanding the offense, whatnot, and just that. But he's mature, very mature kid. So, took everything as learn lesson, opportunity to grow. But from where he was when he started to where he is right now, just turns his overall level of confidence, his comfort. It's on a whole different level right now. The one area where he's always been really good at, is pass protection. Just in terms of the recognition, he's been really good at that. But just in terms of his overall just confidence and knowing what to do per play and where he is right now, man, he's made a huge jump from where he was now to then. Even in terms of just changing like his body, still a really big kid, but he's leaned up a lot more and he's explosive. So he's fun to watch.
I don't know how long of a conversation was, but he could have played and burned his redshirt. He's playing special teams fairly consistently, I think, at some point. Just the conversation with him, was it easy? Did he want to play? Did he understand?
Yeah, he understood. Yeah. He understood. Yeah, and he's a great football player. Just he obviously running back, but he picks up on the special teams drills, any of those drills. He picks up on it with ease. But he did understand it. And obviously, this with the NCAA rules allowing those guys to play this game and not count as a fifth game, that's huge.
You know that before? I know that they haven't made that clarified until recently. But did he think a bowl was a possibility? Is he relieved now that he knows he can play and keep the year?
Yeah.
Okay. And then enough practice for him to be a factor on offense, special teams, I'm guessing. But
yeah, absolutely. He's been playing.
Yeah.
He's been playing. Right now we just got 3 of them. So he's been getting a lot of reps. He's been doing really well too. And first day or two or so, he was a little, like, I wouldn't say not tentative, but just hesitant. You know what I mean? And now he's running our offense. He's been obviously on the scout team, and today, man, he turned loose. I told him just go out there and just go play ball, just go let it loose, play confidently. Don't worry about. I don't tell him fell up. Don't worry about failing. Just go play ball. And he had a really good day today. He's had a good couple of days of practice, but today was his best day by far.
How dynamic does he make the running back room when obviously he and Jaheim are two different styles of running backs, and then going into next year you'll have those two plus CJ for most games? Very
dynamic because he's the same size as CJ, but he is fast. He can legit run. It's so funny. Like when I tell you guys that, and you probably see how big he is, you probably look at me like, really? And that's what all them guys on the football team thought too until they see him run. Like he can legit run. He's extremely powerful. He's strong. He's a powerlifter in high school, so he's naturally strong. He bends really well. The one area of improvement, speaking of improvement, when he first got here, his hands weren't the best at all. And they didn't ask him to catch the ball out of high school. He's really improved on catching the football. That would be his biggest improvement, is catching the football. But he's extremely fast. It's going to be an interesting dynamic because he can legit run, like take it to the house, legit run.